What's going on, Warriors? It's Coach Jay. Listen, today we're gonna dive in. I'm gonna show you guys 3 reasons why your blood sugar is spiking when you're working out, and I'm gonna show you what you can do to avoid that. All right, so let's dive right in today, guys. You guys caught me on a pump. You guys know, you guys aren't, when I'm not online, I'm literally at the gym. I live at the gym, but we're gonna get it today. I'm gonna break this down for you guys. If it's your first time on the channel, I'm a diabetic fitness coach. I help diabetics to build muscle, burn fat, and control their blood sugars overall. But if you're not a diabetic, you just wanna see the lifestyle and what I do, you want to get more information on supplements that can help you. So make sure you guys smash the subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you guys don't miss out on any of the videos, and hit the like button if you get a chance, guys. Just helps my videos get out there, get more people on board to see them. Enough of me talking, guys. We're gonna dive right into this one. So the first thing I want to talk about is time of workout. When are you working out? And that's one of the most important things. Me, I like to work out all times of the day, but the time you work out is really going to impact where your blood sugars go when you're training. For example, we all know the dawn phenomenon effect. If you don't know the dawn phenomenon effect is what happens early in the morning when your cortisol levels are higher. It's likely going to cause your blood sugar to increase because of the release of cortisol. You got the release of glucagon as well, which is designed to spike and release glucose to give you energy, right? So if you're someone who works out in the morning, you might notice that your blood sugar spikes more in the morning because you might be on the tail end of that dawn phenomenon effect where cortisol levels are higher. Plus, if you are going to the gym too, that alone is going to increase adrenaline. It's going to increase cortisol some more, a little bit of glucagon as well. And so when you have all of these hormones that are geared towards boosting your blood sugar, especially because it's part of the circadian rhythm of the hormones in your body, specifically cortisol, you could wind up having higher blood sugars just as a result of the timing of when you're working out. Now, if you notice this, maybe try shifting your workouts later to the afternoon or the evening when cortisol levels are, generally speaking, a little bit lower. Or what you could also do is give yourself a little bit of insulin prior to working out, depending on how high you notice your blood sugars go. For example, let's say your blood sugars typically are 100 mg/dL before you train, and you notice that they're gonna hit 200 mg/dL by the time you're done in the morning. You can't account for it. Now, what you can do is factor your correction factor, right? So if you are 200 mg/dL, let's say, for example, 1 unit on your correction factor brings you down 50 mg/dL. To get ahead of that, to avoid that spike, if you're doing that on average, you would give yourself 2 units if you were 100 mg/dL to avoid a 200 mg/dL spike, assuming that we're saying that your correction factor is 1 to 50, meaning 1 unit will bring you down 50 mg/dL. Because then by the time our person has done their workout, they've got ahead of the insulin rather than giving it at the end of the workout when they're already high. And always when you're testing things like this, keep your sugar on board. I like juice because it hits really fast, but keep that on board. The second thing is how much carbohydrates are you eating in the day? Now, to understand this, we have to know that carbohydrates are going to break down as glucose in the body, and then I'm gonna do a quick spin for you guys. They break down as glucose in the body, and then they get stored as glycogen, right? Now, they get stored as glycogen in your muscles and around your liver. Now, again, when you're training, cortisol gets released, adrenaline gets released, glucagon gets released, and the goal is to shuttle glucose into your bloodstream to help you to train, to work out, to give you energy, right? So if you're working out and you have a lot of carbohydrates on board, understand that your body can hold a certain amount of glycogen. So if you've packed all those stores up, likely when you're training, and this is usually for somebody that's on a higher carb diet, which is nothing wrong with that, but you just have to be aware that this could happen, your body's more likely to maybe have a little bit more of a spike because when you train, it's going to release some of that stored glycogen into the blood initially. Now, over time, if you keep the intensity high and you're still working out, then that intensity and duration eventually will start to lower it out. But you might notice that initial spike when you're training, especially if you have moderate to higher carbs and the body is storing it as glycogen. The third thing to focus on is insulin resistance. If you're somebody that has insulin resistance, maybe you're a type 2 diabetic with insulin resistance, and you're slightly obese or slightly have a little bit more weight to lose, or you're somebody who's a type 1 diabetic, you notice that you gain some weight and now all of a sudden your blood sugars are spiking when you're training, insulin resistance could be the cause. And what I mean by this is when we talk about insulin resistance, we rarely talk about what's called the overflow phenomenon. If you want to learn more about this phenomenon and insulin resistance, I suggest you look up a doctor by the name is Jason Fung. He does a great job diving into the overflow phenomenon. What happens with insulin resistance, it's not that your cells aren't responding to insulin, which is called the lock and key mechanism to insulin resistance. It's that your cells, insulin is packing your body's cells full of glucose and storing it as glycogen. So you have an overflow phenomenon of glycogen and glucose in your cells. Now, if you can imagine what happens when you work out now, your body's almost popping at the seams and it's releasing all that stored glucose, causing a little bit more of a spike initially when you're training. So if you're somebody that has some insulin resistance, you might notice that spike. Now, things you can do to get ahead of that, again, giving yourself a little bit of insulin before you work out can help that, to avoid just the same thing that we talked about for a person that might have higher carbohydrates throughout the day. So you could go ahead and give yourself an insulin shot. You could just extend the duration of your workout. Try to use some high intense work, add some strength training in there, some cardio. Might take a little bit longer, but eventually that blood sugar will come down. Also practice fasting. Fasting for about 24, you could always start with 24 hours, 2 times a week or 1 time a week to help to improve insulin resistance. Also getting dark leafy green vegetables in and pairing that with things like fruits or more simple carbs if you eat those, that'll really help your body to help to balance out that spike that you might have, help to improve that insulin resistance as well. And then of course training over time, and if you're a type 2 diabetic, your goal should be to lower that insulin that you're taking overall, and that should also help to improve insulin resistance as well. Remember, insulin resistance is caused a lot by hyperinsulinemia, a constant spike of insulin. So the things that we do like fasting, dark leafy greens, low glycemic type foods is going to help to lower that insulin release that your body is doing or that you're injecting if you're a type 1 diabetic. Also improve insulin resistance and over time improve those blood sugar spikes that you're getting when you're working out. Hope that helped you guys out. I hope it wasn't too long, but just over here in the gym, I wanted to share that with you guys because I thought it could help out for anyone experiencing those spikes while they're training, while they're working out. See you guys in the next episode.